All right, what's good, everyone? What's good? This is another one from Opposite from the Norm. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Yeah, you got to do all of that traffic for YouTube. All right, so this your boy JTL, and I got my boy HD here as always. Say what up to the people, HD.
What up, what up, what up, all you people?
All right, so if y'all ain't seen Coming to America 2 yet, I'm gonna advise you to pause this and come back. Go watch it, then come back if you can. If you really want to know what it's about before you watch it and see if it's a waste of time, all right, go ahead and stay. So we're gonna ahead and get in. Before we really get into our review, I'm gonna go ahead and sum up the movie for y'all real quick. All right. So in the beginning of the movie, of course, Wesley Snipes is his antagonist for Eddie Murphy's character, Prince Akeem. And apparently they got some beef because of certain situations that happen between their countries. And Wesley Snipes' character feels like he owes him. So either we can shed blood or my son can marry your daughter, which Eddie Murphy didn't want to do. And then his father tells him that, hey, you got a son out there, so go find your son. So to keep him from having to marry his daughter to Wesley Snipes' punk ass son, Rotimi from Power, he goes to find his son, finds his son, brings his son back. Then he's trying to teach his son how to be a king like him. And it was bad at first, then it gets better. Then his son is going to start to marry Wesley Snipes' daughter because he changed his mind. Since his daughter didn't want his son, Wesley Snipes had a daughter, which is Tiana Taylor character. So Eddie Murphy's son is about to marry her, so that way they can keep peace between the two countries. But then Eddie Murphy's son falls in love with his hairstylist, the barber, the female barber, and then they decide to elope. Then it puts Eddie Murphy back into a bad situation. And then Eddie Murphy goes back to being how he used to be when he was Prince Akeem when he was younger. And he's like, no, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let y'all fall in love and we're going to hold the wedding and all of that good stuff. And at the same time, he's been another one of his antagonists is his eldest daughter because she wants to be the queen versus just, being the heir versus it just going to his son. So she ends up holding down the castle while Eddie Murphy went to go find his son who eloped with the hairstylist and bring them back. So Wesley Snipes comes in and tries to kidnap the daughter. The daughter and her two younger sisters and Arsenio Hall's character whoops their ass and whoops Wesley Snipes' ass. And then when Eddie Murphy comes back and then they're having a wedding for his son and the hairstylist, they get over whatever happens and then they do a deal. Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes does a deal so that way they don't have to war. And then that's pretty much the summarizing of the story. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get into some details whether what we like or didn't like. So I'm gonna let my partner go ahead and go first because I watched the movie before he did, so it's fresh on his mind. So I want him to go ahead and talk about. Let's start with the first beginning of the movie, part A, you know what I'm saying, all the way up to when he has to go look for his son. What did you think about the movie in that beginning part?
Oh shit, man. You done threw me for a loop. I wrote down positive versus negatives. Um, Let me see. The first part of the movie, I'll say,
Yeah, just do your positive versus the negatives of the beginning part of the movie.
um, trying to think of how I can summarize it quickly. Um, I like, excuse me, I like how, well, a positive I can say is I kind of like how they evolved with the flashbacks. Um, the flashbacks, made you think back to the first movie, made you think about why you watching the second one in the first place, and what made you um, like the first one. Um, I didn't go into it. I think the reason why a lot of people that are speaking so harshly on it, and just from reading, is because these people were going into it expecting themselves to feel the same way they felt for the first one. So going into it, you have to eliminate that thought, in my opinion. You have to eliminate the thought of, is this going to be as good as the first one? Is it going to be like the first one? Is it going to make me feel like the first one? So I wasn't going into it looking for any of those things. I was just going into it looking for it to be its own thing and to judge it off that. Because if you're going to hold it up against something from the past, you're going to automatically give it a failing grade because it's not going to make you feel how the first one made you feel anyway. So I could just say I enjoyed the flashbacks that they incorporated into the movie. Um, don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but I really didn't feel like they had to make another plot on top of a plot with the whole going to war with another bordering country. I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of unnecessary. We could have bought into effect the character of Tiana Taylor, because yes, they were trying to go with the same storyline from the beginning. Excuse me, from the first one. I just felt like the whole going to war and Wesley Snipes, having this other country that want to take over and all that. I just felt like that was a bit unnecessary. So that's the first thoughts that rang to my head, and I'm gonna let you go because then I'm gonna have some more Debbie Downer shit. So I'm gonna let you go.
All right, so I would say in the beginning part, when it starts off and it's showing his family and how him and Lisa progressed, and how it was as them being the king. Well, Prince and his, what I'm saying, his bride. Um, at first it wasn't too bad, but I was waiting, like what you said, going into it. I didn't expect for it to be like the first one. Me and you had already had previous conversations about this because we've been waiting almost 2 years now for this movie to come out. So we already had the preconceived notion like it's not gonna be like the first one. We like, what I mean? We already had a conversation. I always told you, the grade. I'm gonna wait till after we give our review what I feel about the grade of the movie and what you feel about the grade of the movie was. But like I already told you, I didn't think it was gonna be the first one. I just wanted it to be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. So when it first comes on, I'm thinking it's okay. You know what I'm saying? The way they did it. You know what I'm saying? They kind of was close to showing like the scene where they hovering over the country and stuff like they did the first one. And I thought it was kind of weird. He only had 3 daughters, and I'm like, okay, he got 3 daughters. We're gonna see how that goes into him finding his son, right? Then it was like Lisa, they had Lisa be all uptight and shit. But I like the way his daughters was. His eldest daughter was fine too. I must say, sexy chocolate. Um, but what bothered me in the beginning, like I said, if y'all ain't seen it yet, don't get mad at us. But what bothered me is the fact of his daughter wanting to be the queen. Now we know traditionally a woman can't make a man the king. Traditionally, we know that you can't. So that kind of bothered me throughout the movie when they started in the beginning that she wanted to be the queen and run it. And I was looking at it like, why do they have to make it about women's rights right now? Like that was more prevalent in the movie than when it comes to issues about black and white or as racial issues in this country. So you seen them do a little part because when his son, they show the part where his son is trying to get a job and the white dude is trying to hire him, but trying to do that handout shit and saying racist stuff to him with an undertone racism to him, and he checked his ass. I like the way he did it, but it was like okay, they did that for like 1 minute in the movie, then the rest was this whole women's rights thing. And I was like, I wonder why they put that in the movie. I'm like, what they had to put that in the movie for? And I like in the beginning also because I thought they was gonna do this. I would have did this if I wrote the script. The part where the general, the first one, I forget the general name, but the first one he was trying to give his daughter a hand to Eddie Murphy's character, and he had her barking. He was like he was like bark like a dog, and she was hopping on one leg and stuff like that. They brought her back in. They were like, look at my sister, and she came back in, and she still was doing the same thing. So after all those years, 30 something years, I was like, that was funny. I like that part. Like that's what I liked about the beginning part. Like they kept that in there, and I guess the way they celebrated his pops before he died, I thought that was kind of cool. Like, all right, well, he want to have his funeral before he died, and then he dies right there on the spot. Uh,
I think
okay,
that
so
was probably the highlight of the beginning part was the him seeing his own funeral. I thought that was a very good idea. I thought that was very original. Maybe you have, but I don't think I've ever seen that in a movie before.
yeah, I've seen that in
So
plenty of
I
movies and
thought,
TV shows.
oh yeah, I ain't
Yeah,
up on that. Well, I thought that was a good idea, and I thought it was cool for them to do that. And like you said, the that was one of my positives that I had wrote down. And I apologize to you that I did. You know, once again, I didn't know you was gonna want to do it this way, so it kind of threw me off. But that was also one of my positives about the cast members. They brought what's the self-hating hoe from the Jamie Foxx show? Um, Garcia.
Garcia
Yeah, however you
something.
say her fucking name, who cares?
Garcia sellout. Yeah.
Yeah, Garcia, I love white men. She she was back in as one of the the original Flower Girls. That was dope. And
Wait,
even
hold
the
on, hold on. All right, so what we can switch it then. We can let's do the positive and negatives the way you were saying. Let's switch it. Let's switch it to that, and then whatever we remember from the movie that we want to throw in, we can just throw in there. So yeah, let's do it that way.
oh my
Let's do it
bad, I
that way
ain't
then.
want to throw it off because
No, you cool. I was just asking a question, but you got a good point because I'm thinking about certain scenes and
yeah.
because I said something that was negative that stood out to me in the beginning. So you can do it that way. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, nah, I and when you said that was one of my things, like I said with the characters, they brought back what's your boy Ohan, I think his name was the dude who like the uh
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
who
The
sung
caretaker, I
Queen to
guess you could
Be.
say.
Yeah, he like a caretaker, kind of like do it all. They brought him back. They had one of my other positives was mostly a all black cast, but they brought back the white boy from the beginning when who worked at McDowell's with him. He
I'm
was
washing
really
lettuce.
yeah, they brought him back. That was cool. So bringing back John Amos, the dad, bringing back Eddie Murphy's dad character. I thought that was really good. I like to see that whenever they do like sequels or TV shows. I like when they bring back the people. You can see them now in their older stage, but it still keeps the same thing. 'Cause sometimes when you switch up a person, the character, it kind of throw you off. Kind of like with the Fresh Prince when they took the mom off and brought on the new mom. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That shit threw me off forever with the switching of the mom. That just didn't. It just didn't sit right with me. And then she wasn't the same lady. Anyway, that was a very big positive for me bringing back, the cast that they brought back and that they kept it black. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Murphy does that a lot, and I really appreciated him for that, for keeping mostly everybody black except for homeboy with the lettuce, and they incorporated the white boy from Duke and Duke. For the people who don't know, Duke and Duke from the Trading Places movie, they threw that in there too. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah, I thought that was
I
like,
know
yeah.
I know a lot of people probably not gonna catch that if they're not our age or may have been up on Trading Places, and they didn't see how Trading Places went together with the first Coming to America because they had some
Hmm.
a scene from there in the first movie that linked to Trading Places. So them throwing that in there, that was an A+ part to me by throwing Trading Places in there and having the little white boy as their grandson.
That, that's all you want to say on that part?
Yeah, now I gotta let you,
Okay,
throw in,
let me land.
I'm getting some of my positives in before I go to the negatives, because
Yeah, I know
I
we're gonna
don't
go
want
in on
people
that
to,
part.
yeah, I don't want people to be like, oh man, you just shitting on the movie. So I do have a few more positives, but I'm gonna let you hit them up, and then I give my last couple positives.
Yeah, like I said, I like that the fact they put that part in there where she was jumping around, still barking. Same thing you said with like some of the characters that they still had in there. I thought that was dope. I like the part. One part that did have me giggle a little bit was when they was McDonald's was still trying to sue Mr. McDowell for the for still copying out the McFlurry and shit. Like I thought that was funny because I'm like, I'm like, damn, they
Hmm.
still trying to sue this brother. I thought that was funny.
And he
Um,
said he on the one part he was like, shit, this ain't the McFlurry. We put our ingredients at the bottom.
at the bottom, see, like that made a big difference. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Um, what else? What else? I think you know what? I like the fact that he put, even though she get on my nerves, I thought the part he put Lisa Leslie down, Tracy Morgan, Lou Nell, and a couple other comedians that was in the background. I still like that Eddie Murphy does stuff like that still. You know what I'm saying? Because that's real big stuff to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear in interviews when they talking, they be like, "Man, yeah, man, I'm in the coming to me." Like that's big to them. And Eddie Murphy has always done that. Even though Spike Lee was like he felt Eddie Murphy could do more, Eddie Murphy was like, I'm doing all I can do because this is not my shit, but I'm still putting people on. Like Eddie Murphy put so many brothers and sisters on, and then plus if you look at it, he even was putting white folks on like crazy. So, but overall, when he was playing in somebody else's movie, it's a majority white cast. But when he does his own movie, producing, writing, and directing, it's the cast is always like 90% black.
Yeah,
90. Like you
that's
you got to
good.
get him 90%. So I thought that was cool. You know what I mean? You go ahead, whatever couple pluses you got. You might say something that sparked something that I remember before we land on the other
Um,
shit.
I'll say probably the biggest shock of the whole movie from beginning to end for me was I actually kind of enjoyed someone who I mostly all the time hate, which is Leslie Jones. I feel like for the character that she was supposed to play, I felt like she did a good job. I didn't feel like it was too much. I didn't feel like she overdid it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of hers. I really don't find her funny on any of her other movies or when she's on Saturday Night Live. I don't. I guess you can kind of say I just don't get her humor, and she always has, this whole stigma about, people don't like me because I ain't pretty or whatever the shit she be ranting about, trying to have the little sympathy stuff because she's not quote unquote the best looking woman. But I felt like in this movie, all that was put aside, and she had her zingers, she had her humor, she played the role to an effect where it didn't annoy me, it didn't get on my nerves, and I think she actually kind of was shining a little bit in this movie. So that was a real shocker for me that she was a positive and a thumbs up as opposed to a negative.
Especially that part when she was like, what you said? Yeah, I didn't know who your daddy was, cause boy, I was a hoe back then, boy. I was giving it
Right?
up.
Yeah.
That
She
that part was
she
funny.
did she did pretty cool, and I liked the part where her and uh what's the wife again? Shit, my head, I'm getting old. Uh
Lisa.
Lisa McDowell, yeah. When they was at the party and they was getting drunk and they was singing songs and shit, I thought that was pretty cool too. But that was a positive for me. And then, the other homie they brought in, Tracy Morgan, I felt like for his role too, he didn't. Because at first I was kind of like, damn, man, they bringing in, of course I know they had to bring in more people, but I just was kind of worried if, because sometimes comedians try to take over a movie or try to shine too much, or the way it's written, it's not written to where, you know, the the main characters get to be the main characters, and the other people try to improvise a little bit too much. But I felt like Tracy Morgan did a good job too. He stayed in his lane. He played his role in a good way. So I thought both of them, Tracy and Leslie, did a good job, and it wasn't too much. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't too, overpowering.
All right. You So are we done kissing ass and ready to go in yet?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much because, not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but when I was trying to find the positives, I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to just write down some shit just to be fake. In watching the movie, those were the positives to me. There were other little small things, but it wasn't really things that I felt like I need to highlight, because if you were trying to be objective, which what I was trying to do, I put the first movie to the back and said, hey, it is not going to stack up to the first. So just be objective and just watch it as if you're not a huge fan of the first one. Just watch it as if, the first one is just another movie to you. So those were the few positives that I found, excuse me. I thought that I'm glad that they had a certain budget for this movie too, because it looked really good. The colors, the camera angles, the shots, their wardrobe, I felt didn't look cheap, and it didn't look like this was some shit for, what do you call that shit? A&E or whatever. The shit like how Tupac movie looked.
Damn, you
It
took the
looked it.
words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say that shit. Like the
Right,
All
it
Eyes
looked
on Me movie.
right. It looked like it was what's the shit that women watch? Uh,
Yeah,
what's
not
the
A&E
channel?
because A&E show
Not a
women
yeah. I said the wrong thing.
don't. No,
Um,
you talking about the
this shit that the
Hallmark
women
channel.
be watching. Yes, the Hallmark channel where all
Yeah,
the sad movies where the woman be killing their husband. Lifetime.
husband
There
be
we
the
go.
killers and Lifetime. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hallmark and Lifetime.
Lifetime movie. This actually looked at, because I looked at the budget as well. So I was like, all right, they put some money into this, and everything looked good. It didn't
Hold
look
on now.
dreary.
We know Eddie Murphy don't always ain't been making the best movie for some years now. But you know, the least they gonna spend money on Eddie Murphy movies.
Right, that's what I thought. It's Eddie, so they ain't gonna give him no Hallmark shit. So
Mm-mm.
I thought, just looking at it, it looked really good. And the part where they digitized them so that they can go back in time, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
judge that too harshly. Cause yeah, it didn't look real.
Mm-mm.
We know that it didn't look real, but I didn't think that it looked horribly bad. I've seen some other movies where they try to digitize shit to where they go back in time, and it just looked real fucked up. But this one, I felt like, they did the best they could. It didn't look too
I
bad.
give him a C. I give him a C on that one. It
Yeah,
wasn't too
it
bad.
didn't look
I give him a C.
too bad.
Mm-hmm. Um, I'll give one more positive before we go in. I would say the new Flower Girls, sexy chocolate, man. That's all I'm gonna say. The new Flower Girls they had, sexy chocolate. Like I like my sister when my sister be nicely shaped like that, and the
Hmm.
new
They did a
outfits,
good job. Yep,
nice. Yeah, yeah.
yep.
All right,
They did a good job.
all right, y'all. So we gave about 25 minutes of good positive. Now we
Oh
about to
boy.
go ahead and get into the
Oh
second
boy.
part about how we felt
Oh
about certain
boy.
things. All right. So I'm gonna keep it G on this. The first thing that bothered me when I heard who wrote the movie script. That's what
Yeah.
me and my partner was talking about. I was like, I want to know
Yeah.
who wrote it. I looked up and found out it was the brother that did Blackish, Woke as Fuck, and,
Mm,
Mixed This, or whatever you call it, Mix-ish, or whatever that shit called. And I was concerned. I was like, oh, man, his shit be corny. Now, Blackish has some funny scenes and stuff in it, but it's kind of dry. It has that dry humor. And I'm thinking Eddie Murphy is not dry humor. You know what I'm saying? Eddie, his shit go in. So I was like, I don't know how that's gonna turn out. So that was the first red flag I seen. The second one was that it was PG-13 instead of rated R like the first one was. So when I seen that, I was like, oh shit, and it's PG-13. Oh fuck. So then when I seen I think, like you said, I wasn't bothered by Tracy Morgan or saying Leslie Jones characters too much while we was watching it. But when I first seen it, it bothered me because it's like, why y'all adding all these new people in? Like, what the fuck is the point? Like, why do you need to keep adding these Negroes in here? Like, adding extra people, all these extra niggas. That's what I was thinking at first. I was like, why you got to add all these extra people? Then the son, I didn't really care too much for him. He was too fucking corny. You know what I'm saying? It's like not this, with the swag shit. Like I say he
man,
was swag, but it was like
hold
he
on.
was corny as fuck.
You stole my number. That was the first negative on my list. The main character guy. I'm sorry. He to me messed up everything.
Yeah, I
I
didn't like
didn't
him.
like him. I didn't like him at all. I felt like he was a poor candidate to have to be the son. I didn't like the faces he was making. And I'm gonna say this, and this is coming from me being somebody that uh takes pride in being a quote unquote nerd, somebody that doesn't have to fashion himself as a tough guy or anything like that. But him, and excuse my language, he just was too much of a pussy. Just everything, just the way he looked, just his presence, just I at one point in my mind I was like, if they was gonna get some little nerdy motherfucker, I would have rather them had got Lil Duval or some shit. Like at least Lil Duval would have made me laugh. Like this dude didn't
Lil
make me
Duval too
laugh.
old. He too old
He well,
Duval.
I know. I'm just saying like the little nerdy person. Like
It
I
don't seem
just
to be a lot of young cats that's good at. You notice that like back in our day when we was younger, Eddie Murphy is one of the young dudes that was funny. Martin, you had, you know what I'm saying? Like we had like young dudes that
see. You
you
look
could
what you
tell
just
was gonna be
said,
superstars.
Martin. I just could imagine a young Martin Lawrence in that role.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That he before we even get further into the negatives, he was the number one. Just you know how sometimes you can see something and it's like quickly, just like with sports. I remember the first time I saw Derrick Rose. 10 seconds into the YouTube video, I was like, "Yo, this nigga's it." Within 10 seconds, just seeing the way he was running and jumping, I was like, "Yo, this nigga's the truth." Or even like a movie, like the first time I remember seeing Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop, just the way he looked and the way he was talking, I was like, "Yo, I like this nigga." Within like the first 2 minutes, with this dude, I don't know if I've ever seen him in any other stuff before, but when he first was just on the screen, I was like, I don't like this motherfucker. Just quickly. It didn't even take 10 minutes. It was like just even in that scene that you gave him props on, the when he was with Duke and Duke grandson,
Yeah.
I just didn't like the way he was talking, the way he was looking, his facial expressions. I was like, fuck man, they fucked it up on the main character.
But think about what I just said. For his young brother that's actors, it's not really no good ones out there. The dude that the main guy they wanted on there turned it down because he said he didn't want to be in Eddie Murphy's shadow, which I think is stupid because that would have been a fat ass check and could help your career. But
Who?
the young brother that played Martin's stepson on the last Big Mama House.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, you weren't trying to watch that last Big Mama House. All right. Did you see Lottery Ticket?
Yes, I think
The
so.
dude that was his best friend,
Hmm.
the dark skinned slim brother, that was his best friend.
Mm.
Not the one that was trying to act gangster, but the other one that was his best friend that he got into a fight with on that rooftop.
Yeah,
And it had
I feel like even the homeboy from Tracy Morgan show, what's his show called? The Last
Tracy.
OG.
Oh, the
No, the
last OG.
Last OG. They could have got the one dude who like the cousin or whatever, the light skinned boy. I got to get his name, but even he would have
Oh, yeah, I know
been
what you're
a
talking about.
better. Yeah, even he would have been a better
Yeah,
kid.
but that nigga
Or
too old too.
right. I know I'm naming all these
That's what I'm
old
saying.
niggas.
You get
Or
all these
homeboy,
old niggas. Huh?
King Bach from
King back. Yeah.
back. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
he would
King
have
back
been
is yeah,
good.
he would have probably yeah, see, he would have been all right. And he's about
Right.
30. So, yeah, you're right. See,
Yes,
but see that's what
cause
I'm
he
saying.
nerdy,
They would
but
he's
he's
funny though.
funny. He's
Like,
funny.
but see that's what I'm saying. They would have had to get somebody that's not too big in the movie realm. Like, King Batch is big YouTube wise, but movie cats, it ain't
Right.
nobody. You got Shad Moss, Bow Wow, garbage. You got the other cat I just named. I don't want to say he too garbage. He's all right because when he was in Tropic Thunder with Ben Stiller and all that, he had some funny scenes. When he was dealing with your boy Robert Downey Jr., who was trying to play like he was a black dude, like he was kind of funny. So I think he would have still did better than this dude. Like this dude was like extra corny, and it's like if you mean to tell me you trying to go get somebody from the hood, why would you make the character be corny if he's coming from the
Mm-hmm.
hood? That didn't make
Exactly.
sense. His mama's extra
Exactly.
hood, his uncle's extra hood, his auntie's extra hood, but you get him and he's extra corny. And he's trying to show you how to pimp walk. He too corny for it. It didn't work.
Thank you.
He was too
See
corny.
that.
That shit didn't work. Another thing, like I already said this before, I didn't like the whole womanist thing where his daughter talking about she want to be queen. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. So you didn't show to me. They didn't show enough to prove that she should be a queen. She had to get help from Arsenio to beat Wesley and her sisters. So I'm like, that doesn't mean she can be a queen because she can fight. It's more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? Like they should have showed her doing more queen duties for her to be an heir. But even still, she couldn't make some guy become the king. It don't work like that. So that kind of bothered me. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be progressive, but this is my thing though. This is in Africa, and we're putting westernized philosophies on our people again, and it gets annoying because it's like in Africa, if you look at the stuff that they follow that is American black, some of it's not good. I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't like when I see stuff for UK blacks and African blacks and they acting like us, but it's the thought shit, it's the thug shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like why can't it be the creative stuff? Why can't it be the intelligent stuff? Why can't we see more about people in Africa or the UK talking about Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X? Why does it have to be Lil Wayne punk ass? Why the fuck does it have to be Megan Thee Stallion stinking ass? Like, why do our people have to be in our other countries? Why do we have to shine on them the bullshit and make them act like us? And that womanist thing is that white woman's thing. That's not black people shit. We trying to build our culture back up. So when I seen that in the movie, I could not stand it. It got on my fucking nerves. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could not stand that shit when I seen it throughout the movie. That shit annoyed the fuck out of me. And then
Well, I'm gonna say this on that. Okay, so like with the women equality thing, I'm not gonna get into all that because that's just gonna get me and you upset. Well, excuse me, I won't speak for you. It's just gonna get me upset to have to do a whole explanation about we're not male chauvinist and blah blah blah
that's
blah
why I'm not
blah.
even. That's why I'm not even gonna
But
say it. Oh well.
right, but for me, it's like all right. I felt like even in real life, like I kind of in my mind felt like Michelle Obama would have did a better job than Barack. So I already know
Mm.
I'm not a motherfucking male chauvinist, but I do,
But you still
I
giving a
do,
disclaimer. Go ahead.
but I do feel that my thought on the daughter thing was like it's like all right, so a woman can't be the heir. It got to be a dude. It got to be a dude. It got to be a dude. But you knew her whole life she had been, if you want to say, grooming herself, learning how to fight, getting smart and intelligent, all those things. So it's kind of like, if you see your daughter doing this from a young age all the way up to whatever age she is now, you knowing that she wants to do this, shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
you have like had a talk with her at some point? Like, hey, I love everything that you're doing, but and just make it, either don't straddle the fence. Either look, I'm gonna change the rules so that you can't take over for me one day, or hey, I understand you trying to fight, you trying to be intelligent, but it's just the rules, like it got to be a man. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like it's like he shouldn't have come off like he been oblivious to this shit. Like you see your daughter out in the back learning how to fucking box and fight and shit. You know why she doing it? Because she wants to, and I'm pretty sure she has come to him on many occasions and said, "Dad, I want to be it. I want to sit on the throne." So it's like, you as the dad, don't fucking straddle the fence. Like, be like, "Yo, I'll make this happen, or this will never happen." Period. Point blank. That's just how I feel about it. Just period.
I mean, yeah, like I said, the only reason why it annoyed me because it was like, what does it really have to do with you know, this movie? To me, it had nothing to do with the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they threw that in there, and I was like, y'all didn't have to throw that in there. But anyways, another thing that bothered me. Now I'm not gonna front. Some of the stuff where they try to make it ghetto, I didn't like some of it because it was like some of it like don't make them try too hard. Like if it was rated R, it would have worked better. So you have to do kind of an undertone type thing adding to the movie. So some of the ghetto stuff they try to do, like the one part when he was trying to show Eddie how to walk like a pimp. I was like, that's so old and played out. Like kids have different type of humor nowadays. Like that's that whitewash stuff. Yeah, you gotta walk like this. Hold your cane and say, "There go my hoe," and it was like that shit is so corny. Like that shit was played out with the '90s. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like,
was like minstrel show shit to me,
yeah,
honestly.
that's what
I
I'm
hate to take
saying.
it there. I hate to sound like the old man, get off my lawn, but that it was that right there with that hoe,
Exactly.
and you say, don't call her that. That is that, like you said, that white people, we always have to have that type of shit in our movie. That's that minstrel show shit. Like that shit
Hmm.
is played out. Like we don't have to fucking call, oh, that's my hoe. We don't have to do that. We not to sound like some old person, like we've come too far, but like, come
Mm-mm-mm.
on, man, we don't have to have that, man.
But that's
That
what I'm
part right
saying. It
there,
was played
that
out.
sickened me in my stomach. It did.
It
I ain't
was
gonna lie.
because it was that PG-13 hoe. If it was a rated R hoe, it might have been funnier. But it was PG-13 where my hoe at. And like I said, in the '90s, we already did that organically when we was making fun of jokes like that and stuff like that. Our people was funny doing it. Like when you seen In Living Color did stuff like that, you seen Martin did stuff like that, or Living Single, or you know what I'm saying. Our blacks, the Wayans brothers, our favorite show. When they did that shit, it was hilarious because it was organic. They weren't trying to
Hmm.
put that in. Like, let's make sure we keep it black now. And that's why I think the corniness came from the movie writer because the way we do our jokes and shit is hilarious. But nowadays we don't joke like that no more because that shit is 20 some years old now. We don't
Right.
joke like that. That's just like when Pops was what a whore derbies.
The whole derbies,
What a whole derbies. Man,
the
who
whole
taught you how to talk?
derbies.
Magic? Like that shit was funny. You know what I'm saying? The now I'm gonna diss it, but one part was funny. I ain't gonna lie. The one part when they did that was funny to me because I never seen nobody really do it like that in the movie, especially not nowadays. Then we do this shit on the block. Like that part when Arsenio Hall was playing the old witch lady and Wesley Slade was like, "Who auntie is this?" That part was kind of funny to me.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, it was
That
kind of
was
funny to me.
that was a good one.
That shit was kind of funny because that reminded me of some shit we'll do on the block. But we don't put that in movies and stuff like that, so that's why that was able to slide. But that whole one, I was like, man, what the fuck is this? Man, get the fuck out that
Well,
corny whitewash shit.
that right there is my second biggest bullet point under the negative. After the main character, that was my first. The second one is unnecessary scenes, and I knew this was going to happen, and that's why I said going into it, I made my brain fixed a certain way because I knew there was going to have a lot of unnecessary scenes, and I just felt like that part right there. And there were many others to me where there were just unnecessary scenes that just dragged me down. It was like, all right, I'm liking it, but it's just unnecessary scenes, and it just goes back to what you brought up not too long ago about who wrote it. I just felt like it was so much unnecessary shit, unnecessary scenes that didn't need to be in there that just made me feel a certain way about it. Like, yo, this is just so unnecessary. So you just brought out my second bullet point of unnecessary scenes. It's too many.
Yeah, that's just like the one part that got on my nerves when they did that shit again too was the whole fucking part when they had salt and pepper in there talking about some what a king, what a king. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, you might as well brought T out and let him rap I'm a king. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was that minstrel show shit to me too. Like taking a song and then we gonna reverse the lyrics and then make it about the person we talking about or whatever. So I thought that shit was corny too. When they had Salt and Pepper come out talking about what a mighty king and all of that shit. And I was like, why is that even fucking see that because the writer's corny as fuck. And the movie
Hmm.
people are thinking it's cool. Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. You gonna let some corny ass white folks that don't know shit about our culture show you that? You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that was corny too. Um, the whole thing with the now this is another thing that get on my nerves. If dudes is still letting this shit slide in their household, y'all some weak motherfuckers. That part when she got mad at him and kicked him out of his own bedroom, I'm like,
Oh,
why are
listen,
they still
listen.
showing that shit?
I paused myself, and there were a couple of times when I was smiling, and I was like, I know this pissed Jared off. My bad. But anyway, I was like, I know this pissed my
I
homie
don't
off.
know who
I
I
know
don't
it.
know who Jared is, but
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
sure
know who that is.
it sure it pissed him off.
Yeah, there were at least two or three scenes, and when that one was on, I was like, I had a big smile on my face. I was like, I know this would set my boy off. I know it. I
That
know
should
it
have pissed
did.
you off
I
too, cause
know it did.
you ain't gonna let no shit like that slide in your house. So shit,
Listen,
it should have pissed you off too.
for me, I just look at it as in the past it would have upset me, but now it's kind of like this is the world we live in. All these dudes nowadays think that simping shit is cool or that's the way to be. So that shit ain't happening with me because I'ma just say it. And anyone who goes may think a certain way, I don't give a fuck. Whichever way you want to put it. No female, woman, lady, sister, or bitch gonna kick me out of my motherfucking bed that I paid for. Period.
I'm the type that I will
Whatever
leave.
type of
I'm
woman you
gonna
want
leave
to
and go
say.
sleep on the couch, but you not gonna make me go do a
Thank
damn
you.
thing.
I'll get up and be like, yo, you know what? We ain't, hitting right now. We kind of disagree. Let me grab my because I've done that in real life.
Hmm.
I've done that in real life where it's like, you know what? We might need a little space or this just not a good night. Let me get the pillow, the blanket out the closet. I'm gonna go chill on the sofa for the night. I did that. Not no
Hmm.
female or no bitch kicking me out.
Real shit. You not kicking me out of nothing. I like it, shit. It done been times where I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get missing for a few days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, you not kicking me out of a motherfucker. So it didn't upset me in this, because like we just said, I've never let that happen to me. But it upset me because it was like, why are y'all still trying to push the same narrative to women that if you get mad, even if the dude is holding down the household and doing what he's supposed to, buying bill, paying every bill and everything, you still think you can kick him out his own shit. So that's why it pissed me off because they still brainwashing women with that bullshit. So that shit had me fucking hot.
I
So
do
that's
it. I do it. I do it. I fucking do it. But you know, also when we talk about the things that you and I speak of on this show, what do we always say? If we just gonna say fuck all of who's better, a man or if a woman's better, what do we always say? What we need to come together. We need
hmm
compromise. So it shouldn't be nobody. It shouldn't be the woman kicking the man out or the man kicking the woman out. It could be a compromise, or even me. You know, it could be part of looking at my. Should be looking at myself and growing up like, you know what? Maybe we still can sleep in the same room. We just call it a night. You know, we're not agreeing right now. Let's not go to bed angry. Let's just, we can lay in the same bed. You lay on your side, I lay on my side, and we can reconvene in the morning. It ain't got to be nobody kicking somebody out or you got to go sleeping on the sofa or sleep in the garage. You know what I'm saying? It could just be, hey, we'll reconvene in the morning. Let's just chill for right now. Good night. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Even that.
yeah, but see
But all
that
that
that's
kicking out shit, nah.
that's what I'm saying. So that I wasn't feeling that. Uh,
Let me throw this in there too. Before the one thing that I thought was a huge negative, gigantic, was the way that the fucking child was conceived. I thought that was some of the worst writing in the fucking world.
oh yeah, how he got drugged up.
She just blew smoke in his face, and he just, oh man, he didn't know anything that happened. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
See,
Even if there was angel dust, a little dust sprinkled in to the weed or whatever the fuck they were smoking, you're gonna need more than just to blow it in someone's eyes for them to be that fucked up to where they don't remember nothing. I can
Mm.
see if they made it be where he took a couple hits and then got fucked up, but she just blew it in his eye and he's fucked up. Come on, man. That was just I don't even know what to say. I just go ahead. I
but
thought
see,
that was terrible.
but see, that's what I'm saying. That goes again into that bad ass writing. That's all it is. That bad ass fucking writing that he did. You know what I'm saying? Like it it just could have been better than that, man. You go ahead and tell me what you think that you might got a little bit better. Not better, but going in. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll skip that. The one thing that I could say also, some people may look at this as nitpicking, but whatever. That lion scene where it's like the only thing that the thing that got the lion all was some fucking cat food. Like, get the fuck out of here. I mean, yes, I'm sorry if that's nitpicking, but so the lion is just gonna be eating the cat food, and that's just gonna stop him from attacking. Like, I don't know what kind of fucking lion that is. And then once he did get the little whisker, he just threw the can over there in the grass, and then the lion just laid down and started eating the food. I mean, that can is like the size of the palm of my hand. He's gonna eat that in like 5 seconds. He's not gonna lay on the ground and fucking be like, oh, I'm just so satisfied. That I mean, like I said, it could be nitpicking, but whatever. And then one thing that also bothered me was what they did with Tiana Taylor. Like they made her mimic the lady from 30 years ago. Like she kept saying, whatever it is you like, whatever you. So basically, once again, they got her to be just like the woman from the beginning, which was a cool concept. But then all of a
hmm
sudden, she just flips out of it within the next day and starts dancing at the party. Like she just flipped out of it. The lady from the first scene was fucked up for 30 years because she had been groomed since birth to be this way. And then they had Tiana Taylor do the same thing. And then at the party, she just danced with other people just out the blue. Like I just thought that was corny as fuck too. If she was gonna be like the lady from the first one, then she should be like the lady from the first one. I just thought that didn't make any sense to me. If she gonna be like the chick from the first one, do the same shit.
Mm.
I thought that was dumb. And then the last thing, because I didn't want to go too in on it, was you know how, let's say, my favorite movie in the, unfortunately, because it's white people, but my most favorite movie of all time is Casino. For people who know about Casino, the movie's 3 hours. That's a long ass time to sit. However, when I'm watching it, it don't seem like 3 hours. To me, when I'm watching it, it don't even barely seem like an hour and a half because I'm enjoying it so much. I'm wishing that the movie would be longer, even though I don't watch the movie 3,000 times. So if you watching a movie and you feel like you didn't keep track of time, that means you loved it. You was into it. But with this one, there were points where I was just sitting there like, is this gonna be over? And you pause it and you like, damn, this got 45 more minutes. Shit. I thought this was about to be over now. So that was a negative to me that I was sitting there clock watching. If you clock watching, that means that that movie ain't it. So I found myself clock watching two, three times. So that right there let me know that the movie wasn't hitting for me. So that was my last huge bullet point, and that's a huge bullet point to me. When you start, yearning for the movie to be over, you know that it ain't it.
Yeah, I think that on that part, yeah, you got a good point because also at the end of the movie, the way it ended, like I kind of broke it down in the beginning about how they figure out what they was gonna do once Eddie came back to his senses of being more like he was back in the day. It was like that's how you gonna end it. They get into a weak ass scuffle, and then you come back and the wedding's fine. Then they had a conversation, and now they ain't gonna go to war. But he gonna sit there and let a girl whoop his ass? And no, that shit wouldn't have happened for real. They would have got killed if they would have put their hands on that man like that. So I was like, they didn't end it good. And I'll give one of my last points that really, really uh ticked me off about it. This last one, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. The fact that my boy wasn't in there.
Whoa,
Sorry
what was
about
that
that.
echo? That was nasty.
My bad, G. The fact that my boy wasn't in there. That boy good.
Yeah, that was a huge disappointment. That was, and most people ain't gonna even know who you speaking of. But yeah, that was a disappointment. It really was.
So if y'all didn't get a chance to go ahead and watch it, the first one, y'all gotta go back and watch the first one. On the first one, the main three guys from the barbershop that they did have in the little short dude Sweets, the one at the end that when they was dancing at the table, and he was like, "That boy good. That's not the real Sweets." So he wasn't even in there. So when I seen that, I was like, "Oh man, they ain't got my boy Sweets in there." So he tried to say that boy good. I was like, "Yeah, that don't feel the same. That that didn't feel the same." You know what I mean? So that bothered me. So now after we did our 25 minutes of positives, we did our 25 minutes of negative. Now we're gonna go ahead and give y'all a rating. My rating for the movie was a D minus. Like I said, I felt the movie could have been a lot better. I wish it would have been rated R. I wish they would have got somebody else to write it. The direction was good. They put a good amount of money into the movie and how it looked. Just like my partner HD just said, you know what I mean, recently said they did at least put money on it like they always do. That's Eddie Murphy. They ain't gonna do it no less. But I felt the script could have been a lot stronger regardless of who they put in the movie, I think there's certain things they could have changed. Like if you was gonna go to the hood to get your son should have been more hood. Like they would have been better off letting 21 Savage play his son. But
Damn,
whatever.
damn. You
So I
said
give it a
21 Savage.
I give at
Shit.
least he from the hood, shit. But I give it a strong D minus. What you give it, H?
Oh man, I'll go with the same grade, a D or a D minus. I just I felt as a whole the clock watching thing was big for me. Like I just felt like I was waiting for it to be over, and I just I did look at it from an unbiased point of view, and even to me, I'll say this: even if I wouldn't have been one of those people who didn't know anything about the first movie as a whole, if I had to give a word to describe the movie, it's a word you use quite a few times: corny. I just thought it was a corny movie. It had its laugher parts, but I thought the whole beginning to end, one word to describe the movie, it was corny. It really was corny to me, and I didn't really feel like this is gonna sound weird, but in the first one, I really felt that love thing between Lisa and Eddie. I really
Yeah,
did. And
yeah,
then
me
in
too.
this, like, I really, even though it's a movie and I know it's fake, it really felt like a love thing. Like he really was in love with her, and then he just swept her off her feet, and you could like feel it through the TV. In this movie, I didn't feel that whole love thing, you know. And then even with the character, Akeem was very intelligent and spoke a certain way, but just even the way he walked, you could kind of tell, like, all right, he may be a nerd, but he could scrap a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like Akeem, you know, he showed in the scene with Sam Jackson, like, all right, I'm a nerd, but I can handle myself. This dude, the son, it don't even look like he could scrap a little bit, like at all. Like he can't
Hmm.
throw no blows. He can't handle no kind of pool stick. He can't handle a baseball bat. He can't handle no nunchucks, no knife, no brass knuckles, nothing. You know, it looked like he one of those people that he'll play the game of chicken. You know, he'll be talking a lot, but he don't really want to fight. So I didn't feel that love connection at all either. So I just felt like the movie as a whole was corny. So I give it a D or a D minus. You know, that's as fair as I can be.
Only reason why I give it a D minus is because, like I said, it was still some parts in there that I laughed at. It was still some parts in there that I was glad they put in there. One or two parts I was glad they still put in there. Some of the females was in there was sexy and beautiful. I like that. Cause I ain't gonna front the girl that played his son's love interest. I thought she was fine as I don't know what. Beautiful sister. I was digging that. I was like, man, I'm about to go get me an African woman. So I thought that was kind of good. You know what I'm saying? But sorry guys, it's a D minus. I seen other people said the movie was trash. They ain't like it. It's a couple other people that gave their opinion
Well,
that I want
see,
to check out.
I think that's too harsh. I don't want people to be to oh, it's trash. Now it's better than some other comedy movies I've seen over the past year. So I'm not gonna say it was trash. I'm not gonna go that far. And one thing I didn't say was I think that a lot of the people age well. We know Eddie Murphy aged well. He still looked great. I don't think Arsenio looked that bad. I don't think that Lisa McDowell, I think she aged well. I still think Tracy Morgan looks good in his old age. You know,
Oh,
uh, the
I
the
mean,
the
yeah, but see, like, yeah, they had Lisa dressed up good and everybody, but it's just Eddie Murphy. No offense, him and Arsenio Hall. For some reason, when they get on camera, you see the age more. Like, if you go watch the interviews that they was putting out like a week before this was coming out, the regular everyday dress Eddie and Arsenio be clean, especially Eddie. Like Eddie be clean. Like when you see Eddie Murphy, it's just like
mhm.
for people that know Rocky, like Sylvester Stallone, like he aged real well. Like if you see him in an interview, he got the suit on, you know what I'm saying? He looking
Well,
dapper
Sylvester
Dan.
Stallone done had surgery and shit to his face, so I
No,
don't count him.
no, I know. No.
He done had stuff done to his face. Now Eddie ain't have nothing done to his face. He just look good.
No, but I'm talking about his swag be on 10. Like you got to give it. Sylvester can dress his ass off. You got to give it to him. But I'm saying like when Eddie and them be on camera, I don't know if they be trying to do with makeup or what. It like when you see him acting, he look older. But when you see Eddie just off and he just doing interviews, he look great. So, but you right, they still age well, but it's I don't know. I don't think people be doing him justice on camera too much no more. Like, cause when I see him interviewing, he's still. Cause I mean, you gotta think Eddie's like 64 years old, man. So yeah, they still look great for their age. Cause I'm sure the girl that played Lady Sherry Headley, she's probably like 56 or something like that. Cause she's a lot younger than Eddie. So she probably like 56 or 7 or something like that. But she still look, yeah, you're right. She still look good. Leslie Jones, I know she ain't the cutest, but she doesn't look terrible to be 53. Like you gotta think, like our generation's age different when it comes to black people. Like it be for some real shit. We look pretty good. Yeah, you're right. I
Yeah,
definitely gotta agree on that one. Yeah.
we definitely age well, and you know, I may be just saying this, but like I seen comments and heard comments about Eddie Murphy's like quote unquote gut in the movie. I think that they did that for a reason. I don't think that it was just, oh, they forgot to cover it up. I think they did that to kind of add more humor to it, to be like, oh, Akeem done got a gut now. He been over there eating good and shit. So I don't think, for the people who was pointing out his gut, I think that they did that for comedic purposes.
Yeah, but I mean he's older, so that's another thing you gotta realize. Because you gotta remember his dad had a big ass gut. James Earl Jones had a gut since he became a damn actor. You know, he always had a man's gut. But you know he's older, so he's not gonna be in the greatest shape. Like if that was the case, then Wesley Snipes would have had a bad gut. But Wesley stays in shape though.
Yeah,
And
Wesley looked good too.
yeah, Wesley about 62.
Yeah, he looked good for his age, and you know
Mm-hmm.
he had his parts in there. So I felt like Wesley did a good job, even though I felt that his character was unnecessary and didn't need to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like he looked good, and he, was cool for his scenes. But I definitely think what you said was all the way real. When the girl whooped his ass, that he just, oh, well, I learned my lesson. Let's have peace. Hell
Yeah,
nah.
it don't
He would
work
have
like that.
came back with some motherfucking machine guns and all that.
They don't work like that.
They
Not
don't
that.
work like that. Hell
But I
no.
mean, I'm not gonna shit on it totally. I will say this: at least they tried to connect all the characters because I feel you. Like I said the same thing, but at least Wesley Snipes was the son of General Z. So the one that tried to give his daughter hand
Right.
in marriage to
Yeah.
Eddie. So at least they
Right.
tried to connect the characters. Like okay, this is not just gonna be somebody that there's no reason that or no connection, so I get that. But at the same time, it's the bad writing. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the bad writing. Maybe somebody who's 17 to 14 or 12 or 13 will like it, but for somebody who of us who are adamant Eddie Murphy fans and seen the first one when it first came out back in 87, 88, we didn't like we say we didn't expect it to be like that, but we expected not to be like that. I'll just say that. We didn't
Yeah,
expect
like
it to be like that.
the thing where Eddie Murphy's character is like shooting at the picture, like that. Wow, that was unnecessary. Like it that's that new age shit. Like you said, that's that new age. Got to be over the top, have some
hmm
dramatic shit. Like that. Why was that even necessary? Why? What is that emphasizing how much he hates Eddie Murphy? Like, come on, man, that shit is whack.
hmm All right, y'all. So y'all can go ahead, what I'm saying, give us y'all opinions, what you think, how you felt about the movie. If you ain't seen it yet, go see it. Sorry, we told you it was a spoiler alert, so don't get mad at us. That's your silly ass for staying on and still watching it,
Mm,
listening to the show. But leave down in the comments, man, what you think. We tripping or do you feel where we coming from, man? You know how we do it.
I give
So
it a D.
I give it a D minus. So y'all make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get the notifications. And we definitely gonna be back to y'all again with some more shit. Please believe that. So this your boy JTL. Say goodnight to the people, HD.
Good night, people. And if you don't like what we say, fuck you.
All right. So we out this bitch.
Yeah.